Pick and ban has already begun with the first 2 bans underway, as we mentioned as a possibility, as I hopefully predicted, and now can pat myself on the shoulder. Ace1 finds themselves on the blue, INTZ on the red, and we're blazing through the pick ban.
I think we're seeing some overreaction here. I'm not sure they need to ban the Malik right away.
The Malik did cause them trouble last game. It didn't die once, but Ace1, I think you're right. It is an overreaction.
It is an interesting thing to note as well, is INTZ have already kept themselves the same 2 bans from the beginning. That's now forcing Ace1 to limit the strong hero pool. Richter as well as Sephira comes out, Lindis and Kresh being the first 2 for INTZ. They have an opportunity to go with Elsu or the Florentino. If either of those are left open, that will be an immediate first pick for Ace1.
I say ban neither. I say ban neither so they get one of them.
Who do you take off the table then? Teamy, absolutely correct. Ding, ding, ding. D2's an analyst for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Now the question becomes Florentino or Elsu. Who do you prioritize if you're Ace1?
This is tough. Both of them are absolutely ridiculous in their particular lanes here. Depends on what they're more comfortable
Fran, right? Surely you play to Fran's strengths.
Maybe Fran is so good that you mix it up and you balance out the strengths on your roster so that Fran can play anything and dominate that bottom lane. Maybe Fran can cancel out the Elsu on the other side.
I think that's a mistake, because if the Elsu comes up, that's going to be a lot of range damage into the Florentino, and maybe the only answer to the Florentino is the potential to burn him down before he gets close. Now INTZ have both the CC to stall out his rushes from the Annette that gets locked in for the dominant Mixer J, and the Elsu coming out.
An immediate rebuttal, though, by Ace1, and Aram is locked in. Illumia is on the hover. It's not something that we've seen in the past thus far of this season, but is it? Nope, it's a last-second swap to Tulin.
They were thinking about it, but they couldn't go through with it. Illumia is something that's seen on the Asian side, but didn't quite want to go through with it this time.
2 out of the ordinary for them. The Tulin will give them more gap closing, though, and that is what they want into the Elsu. The Aram, I'm not so sure about. That allows them to brawl if anyone's assassinating them, but they shouldn't have that problem.
Right. The nice part about Aram is that Elsu in the early game is going to be focusing on sniping more than going for the auto attacks.
Right.
So she can't really burn, and Elsu can't really burn down the Aram as well as normal marksman could. That's one thing in their favor.
Ryoma and Wonder Woman, though, immediately on the 3-4 for INTZ. The final lock-ins for Ace1 end up with a Cricknack and a Joker for that jungle and side lane position. And now the mid laner remains for INTZ. It looks to be a Liliana and the final completion of the INTZ roster.
I don't know, I just feel like there's no answer to the Elsu yet. The theory obviously is that the Cricknack can get close, diving into the backlines, but to be frank, I don't see how the Cricknack is going to be able to close the distance when there is so much on the defense.
It's going to be on the Cricknack, the Joker, and the Tulin. They're not the best answers. Joker can use his rockets to be able to kind of counter the snipe in a way, and if you get in somewhat close to him, then you can use that cannon launcher to burst him down from basically full health. That is one way you deal with an Elsu, because he can disengage and get out of fights very, very easily. Joker's a way to kind of nullify that.
Is it enough, though? Ace1 clearly going a much different composition than they did in game number 1. INTZ as well, switching it up almost completely. Is it enough for Ace1, though, to potentially get the perfect coin flip in going up against INTZ?
I think it's better than game 1. I think the potential of the Florentino is there if the Florentino can get into the front lines and brawl properly. I don't think it's impossible. I don't really see who he's brawling with, though.
Right, and the other issue I see here, one of the issues I see here with INTZ's roster is that they have Mudinho on the Elsu. I'm curious if they're going to play him mid, because we've seen that in the past, and it worked really poorly. That's one of their games that they kind of threw away. However, they do have Liliana on Horus, who was their mage earlier. So now I'm just confused. Where are you going to put your heroes?
Welcome to Latin America, where it doesn't matter what position you think that they're playing. They're going to find a way to surprise you. Think about this jungle matchup for a second as well. We've got Cricknack versus the Ryoma. We've seen Ace1 kind of struggle. We saw in the early game of game number 1. Is this Cricknack an opportunity for them to kind of step up the mark, even though they're going against such a strong lane or strong early presence as that Ryoma?
The Cricknack does more damage, but the Ryoma is more versatile. So it depends whether or not the Cricknack has the targets and can consistently get into the backlines. Otherwise, the Ryoma wins, I think, because they serve as a better kind of frontline and assassin. They do both.
Right. The Crickneck needs to do a lot of work here, though, or else he's going to go off.
Well, gentlemen, it's time to get it underway. Game number 2, Ace1 versus INTZ. TJ, D2, it's all you.
If we're focusing on Flex, well, that's the wrong way to start. He's instantly double dicks. The snipe comes through and Flex is down below half HP, and all of a sudden Ace1 are so much less interested in going forward.
That's a setup for a snipe. Just Wailing Blade 2 in a row and stun them all up, TJ. Oh my goodness, I have like tears coming down my eyes right now.
Of joy?
I don't even know.
You're not sure what emotions you're feeling.
Exactly. I don't know if it's joy or sadness. That's just a lot of damage. Maybe pain.
Yeah. Maxine does go in, though. He's got a little bit of his own as the Terrier backs off. There's the turnaround. What did you think you were doing, kind sir?
So Florentino is a very powerful hero, but that was a level 1 Florentino. He didn't have triple threat to his name, which means that combo has half of the effectiveness that it normally does, which is why Yomo was able to stay alive.
I like to point out Flex is having to recall because he simply can't take jungle, given how low he is on HP.
Oh no, that is a bad feeling.
That means that because of that early snipe engage, it might not have felt like it had an immediate effect, but because of that early snipe engage, there's more jungle control to INTZ, and all that bot lane tower pressure that came out is because they knew Flex couldn't interfere.
It hadn't affected me on TJ. It hadn't affected me. And certainly on Flex, like you said, they were able to put so much pressure on, and even continuing that pressure to this bottom tower. This is pre-3 minutes, TJ. You're not supposed to be able to do this.
Well, I don't think INTZ got that memo. They're continuing to press the bottom tower. They've got Justly, the support roam, very, very low. Mixer J and Harris responsible for that.
Curious what they're doing up top, though, in this invade.
Distracting, because the Abyssal Dragon's underway in the meantime.
Payback is fair play, because last game this happened to Ace, or it happened from Ace. This time INTZ do it back.
This time INTZ are the ones with the Abyssal. Ace1 get a little bit more on the macro, though. They'll get a Spirit Sentinel as well as some jungle invade. That's not the worst thing. It would be downright good, especially given that Fran somehow manages to leave this exchange with the jungle farm.
That's so beautiful. And Fran is one of the heroes that you don't mind getting all of your jungle farm on, because he's going to be the one who does a lot of damage for Ace anyway.
E-Buddy now rotates down. Does he know quite how many people are here, though? Oh, that's good wave clear. Nicely done by Frat. Now Fusion's actually properly in trouble with the snipe! Harris chimes in as well. Him and Modinho double team Fran, who just gets deleted.
Oh my goodness, that is one of the downsides of the canned laughter, because you go right back to where you started. The gust force was there, and so was the snipe.
You're getting awfully predictable.
I can see where you're going, says Modinho. I'll take you out.
And he'll probably take this tower. E-Buddy is there for damage.
Oh.
And can't save it by some definition. Actually, he'll chase all the way back that Elsu behind tower. Very low HP. Modinho falls. E-Buddy manages to grab him.
Do not mess with E-Buddy. We talk about Ace not being able to duel, but E-Buddy certainly can.
Fusion will drift down. Now suddenly it's his tower under threat, particularly given how much damage Fran has done with all that jungle farm he ripped down.
What is happening to this game already, TJ? I think we've gone full LATAM once more, because we thought that INTZ had a massive lead, but all of a sudden Ace1 is getting back into it.
Yeah, and the gold lead still favors INTZ by about 1,000, but that lead shrinks rapidly as Ace clean out their jungle for really the first time.
Exactly, and if Ace start to get their feet under them, perhaps they can make a game out of this yet. Oh, these snipes, though. Oh my goodness.
Tino is on point. His previous performance was from the mid lane, and that wasn't great. They put him down in bottom this game, and that's looking so much better.
Right, it's so much easier to hit these snipes when you're not constantly just having to focus on multiple heroes around you. Just get that one hero.
INTZ, objective focus is the name of their game, and it'll pay off. Ace1 don't seem quite sure where their attention needs to be.
I do like the fact that they're not contesting it, though. I don't know if it's intentional or they just let it happen, but Flex doesn't really have the ability to contest any of this, so it's wise to allow them to keep getting farmed.
Yeah, they need late game damage from Flex in order to really get into the Elsu.
Or at least just have any sort of effectiveness at all, because I think they're going to rely on Fran to do most of this damage.
Flex will have to back up again. Here's Snipes rolling through to the mid lane. E-Buddy and Flex to defend.
Even that snipe was on course, by the way. Oh my goodness. Can they even take this tower?
They might. Ebody stunned back. Mixer J, it's a beautiful hurricane wall, and they've already taken the tower. Flex just needs to flee, and he's lingering, offering things up as INTZ do lose players up top. Maxine will go for the tower damage, but Horus is there to defend. They will not get an answer, and actually, Fusion's here. Maxine might be in a lot of trouble.
Has to use the flicker because he missed the Blossom, TJ. When you miss a Blossom on the Florentino, you are in trouble because you're unable to use the combo that allows you to take members out.
Flex and Fran do double team nicely for a mid lane tower, though. They'll lose one up top as INTZ continue to push Maxine all the way back.
I like this response from Ace1, though. They know they can't really contest. There's no reason to go after this, so they go for Viteria instead.
Flex goes in, Medinio reads him like a book, but Fran finds an answer. A 1-1 trade, Predaria down, Flex in answer.
Oh my goodness. This does help Fran, though, because if he continues to get farmed up, if he continues to get that damage, then he'll be able to be an answer to Medinio in the backline.
He spent a lot for that Might Golem, but it worked out.
Yeah, the Can Ladder is a very short cooldown, so that's not a big deal, but the Flicker it certainly is. That is his only escape outside of the pick a card, any card.
But he managed to lock down a little bit more jungle to his name, and he is actually the quickest farming member of the team.
Yeah, absolutely, by a long margin. Remember those early jungle stacks in the early game?
Fusion, the stun, Maxine, lassoed back in. Jastly's just in the middle of this whole team trying to snare, and Mixer J will answer support for support. He's got a kill. Flex is split up as well. The Hurricane Wall stunned him up. He'll have to dive out. The Horton Rush does get him to safety. There's very little on hand to hold this mid tower.
That stun lock on Maxi was absolutely brutal. First with the lasso and then with the blinding light, or was it the opposite? I'm not even sure. He was just dead.
Horus does take damage, but look, they can just shrug off Flex and they'll get the tower anyway. Fusion, oh my goodness, reels in Fran. It's an easy kill.
I believe that actually was a Can Laughter, but he dies anyway. That is the nerf from about 3 patches ago when if you try to go in, you will get damaged. And you can punish that when Joker tries to take you out.
Daria with the wave clear up top keeps INTZ in the split push goodness. We had some questions about whether or not they would bring out the same form game number 2.
Yeah, they're starting to prove that they can do it 2 games in a row thus far. Game's not over yet, but they're doing well.
Daria is in trouble. There's the Thunderbird. He'll be knocked low, but not finished.
Small victory here for Ace is that you force the flicker, but you're gonna have to make something happen of that if they're gonna get back in this game.
INTZ get a Might Golem, it looks like, but it's close. Mixer J has to Hurricane Wall to get to safety, but that does cut off the chase, and Medinio feels safe enough that he's gonna get a Seagull.
Ace is doing a reasonable job defending, but if they continue to fall behind, then INTZ can just push onto their towers with impunity, so they need to start making something happen, perhaps take a good fight or get a good gank.
How do you start that? Because they are just so far behind they can't win any fights currently.
Right, I think what you do is you get a good gank onto one member like this, potentially on the Medinio. He does get away, but once you get that fight, once you get that one gank, you rely on the fact that INTZ is in LATAM, they want to fight, so maybe you take a 5v4 and then win that team fight.
Relying on winning a 5v4, they are almost 2 levels behind some key players, though. Just pretty devastating. Maxide, oh, he's very far behind. The Hurricane Wall, the flicker, the shield, it's not enough. Fusion keeps committing. Flex barely survives. Nobody else does. Maxide and Jastly both down. Ebody will go in. The Thunderbird doesn't find the kill, and the tower itself has fallen as Ebody drifts back.
Even with no magic defense other than the Gilded Graves, he stays alive through that.
Flex in for round 2. Does get Mixer J and Horus low enough they'll back out, but it was less than a third of their HP from the full combo.
Despite Ace having good overall macro, they don't have great team fight macro, which means that they're not unable to capitalize on members getting low.
Daria. That was cheeky. Tower barely survives. Flex, do you dare?
He shouldn't dare.
He'll linger. INTZ do a vision on the entire team coming their way. This might be a call to cancel the Darkslayer, particularly as Medinio's taken very low. Fusion still focusing it down. It's very low now. This means Jastly can't go in. He'll try and scare them back. Ebody gets the Darkslayer. Fusion's gone. Mixer J needs to run. There's the disengage. Mixer J and Medinio both flee behind tower. Horus does get out. No more casualties from this fight, and Daria does win the split lane. But Darkslayer is stolen away.
Huge play there by E-Buddy to steal it out from right under their noses. Is this how Ace is going to get back into this game? There were so many issues there with INTZ. They were all so low, and they could not take the Darkslayer with confidence.
That is crazy that INTZ kept that Darkslayer fight going.
Right, they should have just either committed onto it or commit to the fight. They did neither, and they suffered for it.
Maxid will go for this Spirit Sentinel nearby. Mixer J. Flex is feeling confident enough to go in for a fight, but he's still not quite got the damage.
There is the buff here on the side of Ace1. They do have both the mana and the health regeneration steadily during a fight, but it won't help if you're that low on health.
Yeah, INTZ just have the level lead. They can't get too silly here. And watch the bot lane, because Pataria has just been split pushing this whole time. He will take the tower into the buff.
He can take Flex as well.
Oh, he will. There's the Wailing Blade. Spectral Ire. Flex is barely fast enough.
Oh my goodness, Pataria is fearless. And because the fact that INTZ wasn't able to get the Darkslayer, that actually helps them take this in range of Abyssal Dragon with no curse.
Yep, Ace1 do walk away though with the Drake summoned. Got a few more seconds left on the buff.
Oh my goodness, look at Pataria's build. It has armor pierce and more armor pierce, and then a lot of damage coming out from that Fenrir's Tooth. He can absolutely melt someone.
We've seen that already. He's been consistently in the split lane.
Uh-oh.
Now he'll need to defend it. Fran on him. Full Spectral Ire! Fran, you lived through it all! He finds the kill!
That was so good! Oh my goodness, the perfect timing on the pick a card, any card. He knew that the combo would come out at that exact moment. That is expert play.
Using the invulnerability, it grants him the momentary invulnerability to stay alive. Now the base defense comes through. INTZ do not crack in. As you can see, Flex beginning to do damage now.
Remember, they have the teamfight buff, not the tower buff.
Horus does get Fran.
Oh, that is so painful for them. Very good play there from Horus to be able to take that out, because it's not easy to take out a Joker.
That was all up in the top lane though, badly split, which means Ace aren't going to feel the effects of being down a player.
Oh, Flex, I don't know if you want to do that, buddy.
He checks the bush, decides there's a lot, but they've lost Maxid as well. That's a little devastating.
Maxid is not making this Florentino work, despite the fact that they picked him first.
Buddy, well, bob and weave to safety. I said surely you get Fran the Elsu, and I'm not sure I disagree.
Fran on the Joker has not worked out too poorly, but the fact that nothing else has worked out for them is not working at all, obviously.
Fusion tries to go in. They do a wave clear against it.
Oh
My God.
That was ridiculous.
Was that Padaria's damage?
Yeah, it was Padaria's damage. The kill only went to MixRJ, but that was definitely Padaria's damage on the Wailing Blade.
This tower should fall. There's a wave against it. Fran tries to run for his life. Will flicker back out. Pataria's already got a kill though. Jastly melts it down, but the damage, it's not bad at all. Maxid can keep chasing forward. If anybody can find these kills, that's enough. They must chase though, and Fran cannot fight into that much damage from Medinho, meaning they lose a tower. And no response.
This game is on the knife's edge, TJ. I don't know what to do with my feelings at the moment. Moutinho versus Fran.
It might be on a knife's edge, but that knife's blade is heading ever slowly, inexorably towards Ace1's heart.
It definitely is. Every snipe that comes out it just pinches at your heart. So too, though, are the rockets coming out from Fran. So much damage coming from both sides. Both sides need to take this so carefully going forward.
Flex misses the drone drop. Not great. I always feel a bit silly when you see the full drone drop combo and he's just like an inch wide.
Flex has not had the greatest series. Not on the Nakaratha, and not on the Crickneck thus far, unfortunately for him.
I'd like to highlight, only one death on Medinho. 4 on Fran.
Medinho has been doing great this entire series, starting with the Sephra and now with the Elsu. Just give him more powered characters, he'll be fine.
You compare it to the most powerful character on the other side, the Florentino, 5 deaths.
Yeah, Maxid, on the other end, like you mentioned, just not doing enough, getting caught out, trying to take on multiple members, which you can do, but not something you should strategize.
Ace have a tower to defend now, and it will be a rough one to do so, because Medinho has a sniper's gallery.
Yeah, it makes it so easy to hit these snipes as an offensive Elsu because they have to group up. Oh.
He's just playing a light gun game. It's devastating.
I believe the term is fish in a barrel, TJ.
Yeah.
Oh.
E-Buddy and Fran both get clipped by that one. Fran just left his base. Now he'll go back, regen his HP.
The good news for Ace is that there's no buff on the side of INTZ. Perhaps they can take a proper team fight.
Flex in, good damage for the drone drop. Medinho scared back. Half HP on him with Mixer J even lower, but they don't have the players that can dive in, and that should mean they lose their first tower, their second high ground tower, rather, as Padaria and Fusion go through. Mixer J again somehow getting credit. Flex, you can't survive this, surely. He does.
He can't even jump onto a Liliana because he gets blasted in the face. This just gets harder and harder.
Oh, that's good though. Cat Laughter will can't find the kill. Jestly gets out. Frat survives. Now drone drop. Medinho barely survives. E-Buddy can't chase him though. The Thunderbird's onto the wrong target. Fusion falls, but they don't get the key members. Medinho survives. Padaria survives. And that means INTZ will not lose much.
Medinho survives, but he had so little HP that because he had to run away.
Padaria's just chasing. Flex, you better run.
No.
Medinho's here alongside. He does have the drone drop. Horn rush in. There is not enough damage in the world. Flex is back. That's to a Blade of Eternity. Frad will chase them, and they weren't ready for that. Medinho survives the Cat Laughter. Gets two. Flex gone down as well. Padaria, he turns onto E-Buddy. Justly, now he's just out for blood. Desperately trying to rush forward as E-Buddy falls to Mixer J. It's a disaster in the bottom lane. Justly, there's nothing you can do. Padaria's here. Spectralar, the full barrage from Medinho. He'll go in, gets the snare. Medinho does not survive, but it's a small blessing for an Ace1 side that has just lost everything.
They might lose Maxine as well.
They will. A complete team Ace. Minion wave and mid. Horus is here. Ace1. It looked so good. It looked like maybe they turned it. And all it took was Padaria backing up, kiting, resetting, and winning game number 2.
I cannot believe that is how that ended. Complete outplay from INTZ. It all came down to the micro in the end, and they finally take a 2-0.